and then we can do all the stuff that we need to do on Facebook.
Oh, I want to bring up Jeff's website.
Excuse me, Jeff said he didn't. We're live, by the way.
Are we live right now?
I think so. I think
Okay,
we
well,
are.
I'm still in rehearsal right now. Sorry. All right, we're live.
I think we are.
Let's see. Yes, we are live on Facebook. I see the red light. The red light means we're live. The clock strikes 7 o'clock, and Nancy Kelly, you and I. Oh, I got to share this to my. I'm gonna share this to my timeline here. You know what number show this is for us?
No, I don't.
We are beginning our 13th show.
It's been fun. We're going to keep going, right?
Well, it's been fun for you. I don't know about.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Um, I would like to keep going. Yeah. Oh wait, I forgot to share it. Hang on. Yeah. So we started this show. Tomorrow will actually be. As I share this right now. Tomorrow is going to be our 3-month anniversary. Because we started this show on May 3rd, first Sunday in May. You and I went in cold turkey, not knowing what the hell we were doing, and
we're sort of still there.
we're still in that. Yeah, we're still.
No, we're doing better. We're doing better. I
No,
think I got it all shared and this time without whining and crying.
we did 5 shows. No, I look back. We did 5 shows in May. 4 shows in June, and ironically, only 3 in July because we skipped the first week for July 4th weekend. But we should tell people now.
What? Are you going to tell people some of the great guests we have coming on?
That's what. That's
How
what
did I read your mind? That's why we're Eric Cohen and Nancy Kelly.
people need to understand that when Nancy and I talk, when we talk sometimes during the week, and we try to avoid talking during the week
Yeah,
because
because it's like a show.
yeah. But I will say this: there are times on the phone, and there are times during this show where Nancy Kelly will sometimes know what I'm going to say minutes before I'm going to say it. It's amazing how you can um, just read into my mind. But yes, I was going to mention that after only 3 shows in July, and let's face it, they were 3. I mean, we had 3 great shows in July with who did we have in July?
I'm just thinking to myself,
Oh, yeah,
well,
well, yeah,
it wasn't that great because I can't even remember.
we had no, actually, here I can look at the lineup right now. We had Joe Cortini and Beth Ann last week. They were phenomenal. Russ Kassoff 2 weeks ago, and then Ron Wilkins back on the 12th of July. But man, listen to this lineup that we have planned for August, starting tonight with the incredibly versatile, wonderfully talented trumpeter, French hornist, educator, band leader, Mr. Jeff Stockham, who will be joining us.
I'm very looking forward to this.
He will join us momentarily, and I hope his lovely wife will pop in as well. Yes. A week from tonight, we will have Mr. Bobby Militello, who had the good fortune of playing with Dave Brubeck, and he's had the good fortune of sharing the stage with Miss Nancy Kelly. You guys jammed at the Fulton Jazz Festival, and you go back a ways
A
with.
long way back. I wish I could think of the date, but a long time.
So that's going to be next week. Then you have to mark this one down. If for no other reason, for the first time ever, our show is going to have a special Monday night edition coming up 2 weeks from tomorrow, August 17th, same time, 7 o'clock. We are going to speak with an NEA jazz master and somebody who is a true jazz impresario, the great Todd Barkin is going to join us on the 17th. That is a Monday night, and we'll certainly talk about that as the week of that show.
What's
But
the date again? Monday the 17th.
yeah, and for people who are wondering, well, why do you have to change the date? Because Todd is actually running the Keystone Corner Jazz Club in Baltimore, and that club is actually one of the very few that's operating right now. And Todd actually has to introduce all the acts on Sunday night.
So he couldn't do this. But
So
you know
he's
where I met Todd was he was booking Dizzy's at Lincoln Center.
Yes, he's
For
got
a
a great.
long time. He was doing that for a long time, and that's where I met. That's how I met Todd. And
So
of course, all of us jazz folk, we stick together through thick and thin.
we have to. So we're very much looking forward to Todd on that Monday the 17th. Then our fourth guest of the month, really one of the very few non-musical guests that we've had. Although she does have she certainly has a big place in her heart for local musicians.
Oh, I would have to say someone who has
Especially,
devoted to supporting young talent.
yeah,
Talent that needs to be kept in the forefront. All kinds of musicians. I mean, there's just nobody like Carrie Lazarus.
Harry Lazarus, longtime News Channel 9 anchor and just a wonderful lady who once worked at my old station too, WAER.
Did
So
you really?
yeah, so we're going to talk to Carrie. That'll be on the 23rd, and then we will close out August 30th. My guest is going to be my co-host.
I am.
You are. Oh yes.
You ask me a bunch of questions like you used to when we were on there. I would love that.
Well, we're not gonna just ask you some questions, but if we're lucky enough, we're gonna get to hear some music as well that night.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But
Well, it's hard to sing, with tracks and stuff on Zoom.
yeah, well,
I'll try.
we got 28 days to figure that out. But anyway, it's gonna be fun. Because you and I haven't really done a show, just the two of us. Not a song, Bill Withers.
I'm just gonna go. We can make it.
Yeah. See,
I'm not even gonna try to sing today because I'm like, I have
so
my whole family here, and I'm a bit
yeah, I know you're a little.
tired. Yeah.
So anyway, so that is that's our month. That's August. I mean, it's gonna be a power-packed month. We start with Jeff Stockham. We end with Nancy on the 30th, and then, gosh, before you know it, it's gonna be. I mean, it'll be Labor Day weekend after that, and some people said we wouldn't even get to Labor Day with this show, but we're gonna get there.
Who said that?
I'm just saying that for show.
We're just winging it. We're just having
Yeah,
fun, and
yeah.
everybody loves it. It was very nice. Did I tell you that I did a wonderful show with somebody that we're probably going to have on in the future, a great vocalist and jazz curator out in LA. Her name is Kathy Siegel Garcia.
Oh my gosh,
That show was wonderful.
it was. I posted the link on my timeline. I don't often take 2 hours and watch other virtual shows that are going on, but I mean, you had told me you were going to be on with Kathy, and I said, yeah, Nance, I'll probably try to tune in maybe for 20 minutes, a half hour, but it's a 2 hour program every day from.
I don't know where she has the stamina, that woman.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, for one thing, she drinks all these very healthy concoctions all the time.
Does she?
Yeah. Yeah.
But no. So she Oh, I got to turn my.
It's all right. You're all right. Don't worry. We all do that.
No, but anyway, I got to let people know, and I know we're gonna get Jeff in here in a couple minutes. And again, I'm not just saying this to boost your ego, but that was, you were as good of a guest as she's ever had, and the proof is in the fact that show now has over. I mean, I think it's approaching probably 2,500 views.
Yeah.
Something along those lines.
I'm not going to brag about it, but it's amazing because she's had some very, very famous people on. You know.
Yeah,
I know
it was great.
It was great. We don't have to talk about that. I don't need to toot my own.
No, but again, if people want to, they can check it out. It's on your link. It's on your timeline. It's on my timeline. And you can also look up, Kathy's show. It's on YouTube as well, right?
Oh yeah.
So.
But it's right on my timeline. You should.
Right.
You should go. It's a great watch. It's a great. God. Anyway, so I wanted to react to Chuck Segroy, who said he's down, he said he's down there in Florida waiting for the hurricane. My God, Chuck.
Yeah.
Be careful. That's like so scary.
Yeah, I know.
It's coming here. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. Chuck says it's coming our way, but I imagine
everything's coming our way.
What'd you say?
Everything's coming our way.
Well, I don't like when hurricanes come our way. But.
Well, we don't get them. We get the worst we have to deal with is terrible snowstorms, and we just stay home.
Yeah.
That's all we do.
But anyway, for anybody who happens to be tuning in, like Chuck, down in Florida, and you're in the path of this deadly hurricane, I mean, yes, please stay safe. Please stay safe because we are right in the middle of hurricane season. Let's also say hi to Nancy Donnelly.
I know, Shell. It's always good to see you, Nancy. It's so nice of you to join us.
Nancy is here. Deborah Ford is here. Deb the painter.
She's got to paint the front of my house. I keep bugging her.
Oh, and I thought Deb the painter. I thought she just paints.
Oh no!
I thought she's just like
climbs up ladders and paints entire.
I thought she's like a Picasso, but she.
Oh, she is. So let's talk about who we got coming on.
And last but not least, hello to Donna Militello, Landra. Hello, good evening, Donna. And I know Donna's looking forward to next Sunday when we have Bobby on, that's for sure. But yes, it's 12 after, and we've kept our guest in the waiting room longer than. I mean, he probably feels like he's in a doctor's office, right? He's like waiting to be called into the examining room. But this is not an exam room, so we're not gonna be probing you, Jeff.
There's Jeff.
There he is.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Well, welcome to. That's Dr. Kelly. I'm Dr. Cohen. We're here to check you out.
To prescribe what's good for what ails you, right?
That's correct. Exactly. Yes.
Is anything ailing you right now?
No.
Me neither.
Nothing.
Just me.
That's a prescription for happiness right
The
there.
lovely Victoria.
Say hello to Victoria Stockham, who peeped in.
Yes.
Yeah, she's got to keep an eye on me while I'm talking
You
to everybody.
Peep in as much as you'd like. Please.
Well, don't say that. Jeff might not want her peeping in.
Oh, okay.
Of course I do.
See, now we're going to start a little tit.
It could turn into a peep show, and that's a whole different.
Hey, now.
There we go. Yeah.
Here we go.
Sorry.
Hi, Andrew Carroll. Hello.
Yeah, Andy Carroll joining us. What's up, Andy?
Oh, you call him Andy? I wonder.
Hey, Andrew.
Can I call you Andy?
Yeah, I call him Andy. I don't know, but
As long as you call him.
That's all we care about, right, Jeff? I don't know. Just don't call me.
right.
As long as we get the calls.
Speaking of people that get calls,
Oh my gosh.
Mr. Jeff Stockham is one of the first call horn players in this part of the East Coast. There's no question about it. Central New York's
No doubt.
Cat on the horn.
Your
So you know
folks-
why, and I'll tell people why. There's so many reasons why. Not only does he play exquisitely, he doesn't just play jazz exquisitely. He can sit, he can pop in almost any situation and nail it and kill it. And he reads great, which is, part of the deal.
Yes.
I love that gig. You came one time and you played with Rick and I at the
Oh yeah, yeah.
man, that was sweet.
At the Cavalier.
Yep. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Well, so have you gone out and done any gigs during this thing yet? Have you?
I've had exactly 2 gigs, no, 3, I think.
And didn't you
Since,
have to drive like 100 miles
since
for?
March 8th. Okay, I've had 3 gigs, and 4 if you count the one that I drove.
Yeah.
That I drove 5 hours to
Yeah.
play for free in Gettysburg
Each way.
each way. Yes.
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook post saying I drove. What was it? How many miles just to play for? like 10 minutes?
It was like, I don't know, 600 miles, 700 miles altogether, something like that, to Gettysburg. A friend of mine, Yari Villanueva, hosts a program called 100 Nights of Taps at Gettysburg, and it's at the National Cemetery, and it pays homage to all the federal soldiers who were buried there. So over the course of a summer, 100 different buglers, one shows up every night over the course of the entire summer. And after a short program, a little speech by Yari, we play taps to honor the fallen federal veterans, Union veterans.
Right.
And this goes on all the way through Labor Day. And on Labor Day, usually there's a large gathering of, probably 60 or 70 buglers, as many as can make it out of the 100. And we go all over the cemetery, and at 6 p.m. we render taps, play a few tunes, a little concert for the spectators. So it's really it's a lovely thing to do. The lovely thing to do.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful.
Do it from just from the heart.
Ah, so do you have a bugle? What was the difference between a bugle and a trumpet? Can you show?
Bugle. I didn't bring a bugle per se. Bugle has no valves.
That's right.
The closest thing that I brought was a Civil War horn of mine called a keyed bugle. This is a keyed bugle, and you'll see it has no valves, although this instrument has a bunch of keys like a saxophone. See?
Isn't that interesting?
And this horn dates from about 1835 or 1840.
You knew what I was going to ask. Yeah, how old is that horn?
Yeah,
Where did you? Now you drive around and look for these horns, or you're online and you go.
Oh yeah, I haunt eBay, and I belong to a collectors network, and I have a lot of friends who are really advanced collectors and curators of museums, things like that. And then I haunt pawn shops and antique malls and so on. And I'm sure
You never know what's going to show up because people don't know what they have.
Well, yeah, actually, although a lot of them do.
Can you?
So I've spent a lot of money over the years on this stuff.
So it's what we do. I spend a lot of money on all my equipment too. It's what we do.
Can you approximate like how many horns you own, roughly?
Roughly, that's about 250 or so at any given time.
Okay.
And plus the student horns and so on and so forth. I sell off the bottom of my collection and buy for the top, unless I see something really cool that I need. And then I find something else that's really cool and sell that to pay for the new thing.
Got to play a lot of gigs, man.
We do. Yeah. Well, I don't see those coming back anytime soon.
Well, I was going to say, what do you think? Like, how do you feel with how it's going to go? What are you thinking?
Well, like I mentioned, I have not had a gig except three gigs, 1 jam session and 2 paying gigs since March 8th. Okay, and now it's August.
Same.
I'm starting, we're all in the same boat. Every gig economy worker, freelancer is in the same situation.
Yeah.
If it
And
weren't for the, you know,
we're getting hung out to dry starting this week.
oh yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
If
we
it
yeah.
weren't for the pandemic assistance, I would have been bankrupt already. So,
and I don't see how that's going to change. But I
well,
don't.
we'll
I don't know. How
we'll
do
see
you?
what happens.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. I mean, there's a whole group of people who feel that it's. I suppose there are some people. See, this is the problem. A few bad apples. But I think in general, musicians are not going. Yeah, well, I don't ever have to work again.
I'd rather be out. I'd rather be out working my butt off like I always am.
But there are
than,
people who
than not doing anything. You know, I love.
they get that unemployment and
love
they're like,
playing.
oh, this is smoking, man. I'm gonna keep doing this
I
and I
know.
get a gig.
Well,
I mean,
all I know is myself, and I would rather be out playing gigs.
Yeah, me too.
both have such a great passion of, I mean, again, both of you on stage are great performers, and so entertaining. I mean, Jeff will tell some amazing stories, and really Jeff and Nancy does the same thing. Educate you. You both educate your audience.
Yes.
And I just love how it's not just, okay, play a song, go into the next song. I mean, there's a story behind the song. There's a story behind the horn. And every time I've seen you play, Jeff, you've always, whether you're decked out in a tuxedo for the stock market swing band, or whether you're in your Excelsior cornet band, or whether it was the Jazz Police, you're always telling people about the song and about the composer, and that interaction with you and a live audience. I know you miss that dearly.
It's really, really important. It's really important, and I've found, especially since I've been doing the Civil War band, done that for it'll be 20 years in the fall.
Oh,
Or 2001 we started. Actually, we started playing in 2000, so it'll be 20 years we've been doing it. And if we just sat up there and played tunes, played, all the Civil War chestnuts, okay, that it'd be a concert.
yeah.
But what would it mean? Whereas when you put it all in the context of the history, the events, the people, the places, all the important stuff that was going on at the time,
Yeah.
then the music has a lot more meaning in the context. And the audiences, they seem to eat that stuff up. They really, really like it, and I like doing it because I've learned so much.
Yeah.
It's been like doing this band, the Civil War group, the Excelsior band it's been like doing a doctoral thesis for me.
Huh.
I've learned so much. It's
I know
my head explodes.
Dan DiPerio is a Civil War buff.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows the history, and
Right,
he really enjoys it and looks into it. Yeah. Well, if we're lucky, we won't have to go through that again, but who knows?
Knock wood. If we do, I've got the band.
That's where I was heading. That's where I was kind of heading. But I'm trying to, we're trying to steer the boat away from this hot topics. You know what I mean? But
Right. Now let's keep it on
let's
the
see
music.
what happens in November.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. But of course, I still am amazed when you do those Civil War gigs, and it's especially the summer, especially the month that we just had, the hottest July on record.
Oh boy.
I know that you've had some Shveddy experiences.
I've had some Shveddy things, yes.
Yes, wearing that Civil War gear on a 90-degry day.
Oh, I've been a lot hotter than that.
Well, it probably feels like it's 110.
This past 2 weeks ago when I went to Gettysburg, the temperature was 99 degrees. The humidity was about 99.9%.
No, I wouldn't live through that.
And I was in full sunlight, and I'm wearing wool. And these are not these uniforms. These Civil War uniforms are not like modern materials at all. They're like 18-point wool, and they're just hot, and you just have to embrace the suck in order to play. You just have to say, I'm going to be sweating my little petite off and
He's sweating my bugles off.
yeah, I'm going to be sweating my bugles off, and and you just have to embrace it and say this is what they went through.
Right.
Because in that day, they thought that by keeping your bodily humors flowing, sweating and so forth, that you were staying healthy. So they would dress, in a shirt, waistcoat, vest, frock coat, hat, and you were not dressed unless you were in full formal clothing. So yeah, they were used to being hot. And I just kind of embraced that same aesthetic and say, well,
Yeah.
I'm playing a horn that's like what they played. I'm playing the music while I'm also feeling what they were feeling when it was 98 degrees with the sun baking on me. Okay,
Right.
so
Right. Yeah.
Hell of a band, Jeff.
arg,
I couldn't. No, I'd be.
off.
Where's the dressing room trailer?
Yeah, right. Where's the air conditioning?
I know.
we were just gonna
Where's
do
the
a thing
beer?
at Beard Park. You know that one we do outside at Beard Park, but we
Yeah.
just do a small group because we have to stay distanced. You know.
Yeah.
I said, but Ronnie, I'll just be in my car.
Oh yeah.
With the
Well, I
AC
remember doing
cranked
that.
high.
I remember doing that job, doing one of those concerts at Baird Park with the Stan Colella Orchestra, and we were on that stone bandstand.
Oh, I did a
that's
couple of those,
right
yeah.
alongside the road. It's a
Oh, yeah.
semicircular stone
Talk
bandstand.
about hot.
And it was about 96 degrees, and the sun beating on us, because on that bandstand you face right into the afternoon
Right.
sun. And
Facing west.
yeah, exactly. And Joe Catania, trombonist, he brought a cooler full of drinks, and he set an ice cube on the mouthpiece of his trombone, and the ice cube went right like that, melted right into his horn. That's how hot it was. So
Oh.
And again, and we have so many different bands of yours to talk about. But one other thing about this, the Civil War band, that's the only one in New York State, right? The only authentic Civil.
well, it was when I started it, and I think it still is the only authentic Civil War regimental band in New York State. There's a lot of them around the country,
Right.
although since 2015, the end of the sesquicentennial of the Civil War, the interest has kind of gone downhill, and the gigs have kind of dried up. We only had a couple of jobs last year, and during the height of the sesquicentennial, we had 15 or more jobs a year for a couple of years, which is
Right.
more than any other group that I played with except for Stan.
Wow.
So
Well, it speaks a lot too for where we are as a nation. I mean, history is not something people seem to pay attention to.
well, yeah, and the other thing is, there are a lot of groups. Like I play in a fantastic group, one of the best Civil War bands in the country, the Federal City Brass Band. And our alter ego is the 26th North Carolina Regimental Band, a famous Confederate band. We have reproductions of their original uniforms. We try to play as close as possible to the instruments that they actually used. We play transcriptions of their actual charts, their actual band music. But now, who's going to go out and reenact Confederate, anything?
So do you find that the harmonic structure of those things is different than what you see today?
No, the band music of the period ran the gamut from the simplest hymns and anthems, through patriotic songs, through all the popular songs of the period. If it was in the top 40 of 1860, it was played by the bands.
What was in the top 40 of 1860?
Oh, geez, every popular song. Okay,
No. Oh, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. What did you say?
I'd have to rack my brains to come up with titles.
But isn't that during the
things
era
like-
when Scott Joplin was really paying a lot of attention to?
Oh, that was before he was
stuff?
even. That was before he was listening.
Was
to
it
that.
really?
Yeah, you're talking
I saw it.
1860.
Oh my God.
So these were all a lot of minstrel songs, a lot of just popular songs by by the great American songwriters of the period, like George Root oh yeah, well, actually, well, where I was going to go with this too is a lot of the repertoire were also military marches, and a lot of opera, because in those days your average person was familiar with opera,
Hmm.
believe it
Well,
or
we
not.
were closer to being from Europe at that point in the time.
Well, yeah, yeah, and a lot of European musicians were coming over from
Yeah.
Europe to play in the
Yeah.
States, and they joined bands in the States and orchestras, and so even in brass bands, there was a lot of repertoire that were transcriptions of operatic arias or medleys of operatic tunes. I've got a Grand Fantasia from Il Trovatore that has the anvil chorus in it when we use a real anvil. Okay, so there's all sorts of stuff like that. I've got medleys of Die Freischütz by Carl Maria von Weber. I've probably got a dozen different operatic medleys.
Wow.
And then a bunch of other operatic tunes, Il Trovatore, La Traviata, stuff from earlier operas that no one has ever heard of.
So interesting. So Jeff, if you, what would you say is your favorite? Like, if you had to pick one kind of music that you wanted to play, what would it be?
What kind of a question is that?
It's not fair.
How could I possibly even
I
do
know
that?
it's not fair.
My stock in trade, first of all, my stock in trade is being versatile. Okay, so if I get called to play piccolo trumpet on a Bach cantata, I'll go play piccolo trumpet on a Bach cantata.
Do you have a
I
piccolo
practice
trumpet there?
Oh yeah, I didn't bring it with me today, but I bought a piccolo trumpet a number of years ago so that I could play Bach and that stuff from that era. And also, I mean, I've done several performances where I've played the piccolo trumpet solo from the Beatles' Penny Lane. So
Oh,
it's come in real handy.
Wow.
For Paul Davies Beetlejuice. Shout out to Paul if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yay, love it. Looking forward to the next one. I know everyone is the last one, Paul, but we know better.
How long has Beatles? Go ahead.
Oh no, where I was going with this is that I'll play E flat cornet in the Civil War band, or keyed bugle, or I'll play, once in a while I even get out my C trumpet and play, in a regional orchestra, or play French horn in an orchestra, or play French horn in a band or a brass quintet, trumpet in every kind of ensemble you can imagine. So picking one kind of music is, it's really like picking between your children.
Who's your favorite? I was just gonna think. Yeah, who's your favorite child?
that's a great answer.
Yeah.
Great answer.
And
well, I love it all, so I love to play.
one other thing we should mention, I don't know if Nancy, if you're aware of this, but Jeff, in his Civil War, attire, I guess you could say,
My
has
Civil War alter
Oh,
ego.
do you have a picture? Eric, do you have a picture? I do.
You do?
Mhm.
Are we talking about the same thing here? Because I was going to
Well, what are you going to
mention
post?
the fact that Jeff has been in a Steven Spielberg film.
Yeah, I got a 2.5 second close up.
2.5 second close up. For those who don't know about the film that we're speaking of, can you tell that story a little bit? And Nancy,
Yeah,
can look at pictures too.
Let's see. I think it was in the middle of 2010. I got a call from a buddy of mine saying I've gotten called to put together a band for a scene in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln, and it's top secret. You can't tell anybody. You can't mention it. Oh, there we go. That's with the bugle. Okay. That's with the Civil War bugle.
Love it.
So the band was put together largely from guys from Kentucky, because the band leader was my late friend Don Johnson, who had a group called the Kentucky Baroque Trumpets,
Right.
And who had played in Saxton's cornet band, one of the other great Civil War brass bands. he got kind of tapped to put this thing together. The contractor was from Richmond, and so we put a band together to represent the 1865 U.S. Marine Band, and we had to sign non-disclosure agreements so that we couldn't tell anybody what we were doing or what the project was. The name of the project was Office Seekers, but the actual movie was Lincoln.
Lincoln, right? Yeah.
So we went down to Richmond. They put us up in a motel, and at 6 o'clock in the morning we were on set. Rehearsed the number a few times. We played We Are Coming, Father Abraham, 300,000 More, with a crowd of about 300 people, and Daniel Day-Lewis giving a very short speech. I mean, very short. If you've seen that scene in the movie, Lincoln takes off his stovepipe hat, reaches in, puts his glasses on, takes out a little scrap of paper, and he's doing a flagpole dedication. And he says, "My job here is to raise the flag. Once up, it's for the people to keep it up. That's my speech." Folds it away and puts his hat on. And that was the whole scene. And then we played the music. And Spielberg used our original instruments, several of mine, several of Don's, several of the other players, a bunch of my accoutrements like the musician's swords that I own, the drum major's mace, my bass drum, one of my clarinets, my
So how did they find you, Jeff?
Well, it's a collector's network, like I said. Anybody who is in the field knows pretty much everybody else that's in the field.
Same thing.
It's all networking. Yeah. It's all networking. So they knew I had instruments. They knew I could play. So I got the call. Although our tenor horn player got cut by casting for some reason, so I ended up, instead of playing cornet, I ended up playing over-the-shoulder B-flat tenor horn, which was I play it. It's fine. It just was.
You have any of those horns? You brought some horns to show us today.
Well, I don't have any with me of that particular style, but they're the kind where the bell goes backwards over your left shoulder, so that the soldiers marching behind can hear their music as they're on the march.
What is that?
Yeah, it was an innovation in the 1840s, and it lasted through about 1870, and then they died out. And I've probably got 12 or 15 of those over-the-shoulder instruments of all different sizes, from little E-flat cornet all the way up to the E-flat tuba that stands about 5 feet high. And they're great. They play like modern instruments, except a little paler sound, and the intonation's a little squirrelier. So you have to play them with a little more finesse, but they're a blast. And so we played the scene. We played Father Abraham, and it was the last outdoor scene of the movie. So and we made the cut. So we made it in. And Spielberg did not overdub with session musicians out of LA. He actually had guys standing behind us with big, like 20-foot boom mics, recording our actual sound.
Nice.
So what you hear in the movie is actually us playing,
Nice.
which is really cool.
That's great.
Really cool.
That's more than 15 minutes right there, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And not only that, Nancy, look who Jeff got to meet too.
I was just going to mention Sally Field.
See, I'm reading I read your mind just like Nancy reads mine.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's why we do this. Oh, isn't that?
She was a delight. Oh my gosh, she was such a delight. The band leader. Well, to start the beginning of the story, the evening before we shot our scene was actually the cast and crew wrap party. Okay, it was because we were the last scene to be shot, and then they were packing right up and bugging out.
Right.
So we went to this party, and Don had us wear our Kentucky Baroque trumpet shirts, as you can see on me there, and our caps,
Yeah.
our Civil War caps, and bring our horns. And then he struck up a conversation with Sally Field, and he said, "Yeah, we're the band that's going to be playing tomorrow. Are you going to be on the set?" She says, "Oh no, I'm heading back. You didn't happen to bring your horns tonight, did you?" And of course we did. So we played some numbers for Sally Field and some of the other cast and all the crew, and they loved it. It was a blast. She talked to all of us. She was extremely sweet, and she was very surprised that we have somebody in common, because her son is married to John DeFrancisco's daughter. So we had common folk that we talked about. It was really cool.
That's right.
There's something I didn't know. How about that?
Yeah.
You gotta wonder how they met. Was he at SU?
Who knows? I don't know. I have
I
no
bet he
idea.
was. I bet he was.
I don't know the
Yeah.
backstory on it. All I know
Right.
is they gave me something to talk about with Sally Field, which
Well,
was good enough.
this,
Well,
this
what
is
a great experience.
probably the only guest I think we may
Awesome.
ever have who's been in a Steven Spielberg film right here.
And afterwards, we actually did a couple of events with Mr. Spielberg. A
Promos?
No, we actually did he was the guest speaker for the 149th Gettysburg Remembrance Day. So, or 148th, I can't remember which, but it was the year after the movie came out. So the band leader, okay, gotta take the correct route here. The band leader of the band in the movie, Don Johnson, made a little side deal with the wardrobe manager, and he bought all of the uniforms that we wore that were custom made for us for the movie. So he formed a band called President Lincoln's Own Band, based on President's Own Marine Band of 1865. So at this event where Spielberg was the speaker, we, President Lincoln's Own Band, sat right next to the actual President's Own Marine Band, and we alternated tunes during the breaks. It was during the run up to his address. That was really cool. He came over and took pictures with us, and he really seemed to like the band a lot. He was like, "Hey guys, it's my band. Come on over."
That's great.
You got an instrument from that era that you brought that you could maybe.
I did bring a couple. I showed you the keyed bugle before. Okay,
What's that sound like? Could you blow a couple notes on that?
All right, I'll try not to blow you out here, but let's see.
Blow to the side.
A complicated and difficult instrument to play.
That's a much higher octave than I was expecting.
Yes, me
It's
too.
very high, yeah, it was the soprano voice.
What an interesting tone that has.
Yes.
It was the peeper, the squeaker of the period. But it's still a very nice warm sound. It has a lot of color to it.
It does. It does. It has a lot of mids. It has a lot of mids and highs.
Yeah. Until you get up in the high register, it's still a very pleasant sound. It's very nice.
Isn't that an interesting horn?
Another eBay find. So
Wow.
and you can see
So
it
has keys on it,
it's kind of like a saxophone. Okay,
Wow.
so-
Isn't that interesting?
Very interesting. Wow.
and then
All
I
right.
brought another.
One down and 200 and some odd to go.
No,
No.
what do we got? I'm here all night.
While we're talking about movies, I should mention House of Cards also.
All right.
They had a scene that required a Civil War band at a Civil War. It wasn't a reenactment, but it was just like a Civil War history days that was part of the plot. And so the same group, actually the Federal City Brass Band, pardon me, not the same group, the Federal City Brass Band put together a group for that. And it was a mixed Union and Confederate group. It was to show the unity of the nation today. But so we played for an episode of House of Cards as well. And let's see. Okay,
Sure,
back to the
it's nice
instrument.
to have a reputation to do this and get calls to do this. That's
it's really,
sort of a nice little niche.
yeah, it's really cool. If anyone had told me when I graduated from music school that I'd be making a fair portion of my living playing antique horns, playing antique music, and wearing Civil War uniforms, I would have told them they were nuts. Okay, so
what did you think you were going to be doing?
well, I was trained to be an orchestral French horn player.
Ah.
Okay, and then I took a few auditions, and that kind of put paid to that. I saw the guys that were getting the gigs. That 200 people show up for or send in a tape for an audition, and they invite 50 or 100. And the guys that were getting the gigs were the ones that lived the orchestral repertoire, and that's all they saw. They had the blinders on, the blinkers, and they sat in a practice room and practiced that stuff all day, and played with every community orchestra and regional orchestra and so on and so forth. And I said, I like doing too much other stuff. I'm not dedicated enough to orchestral literature to do that. So, after taking a few auditions and seeing who was getting the jobs, I decided maybe there's another way. Maybe there's a different path I should follow, the one less traveled on, as they say. So that's kind of where I went.
So where did you? I have to ask, where were you going to school? Where did you go to school?
Well, I did my bachelor's right here in Syracuse at SU. I studied with Bruce Haygreen, who was the principal horn of the Syracuse Symphony. Marvelous player and an amazing player, and still a very close friend. We visit him whenever we're down in Fort Pierce area, and I learned so much from him. Amazing. And then I studied with Milan Jancic when I was at Eastman for my grad work. He was the fourth horn of the Rochester Philharmonic for many years, after having played in the NBC Symphony under Toscanini, and he also, when he wasn't doing that, he was going out and playing third or fourth trumpet in dance bands in New York City, I believe. If I got the story.
There's a crossover guy.
Yeah.
He had no trouble with me playing trumpet as long as I did my French horn stuff, as long as I maintained my horn chops.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, really, it was refreshing actually.
So where did you get your when you were a little guy? What kind of music were you listening to in your home? What was being played for you?
MOR radio, WHAM in Rochester, New York.
Oh yes.
But my folks.
But he had a jazz show. What was his name?
Who was that?
I'm trying to think of his name. John something. I can't think of his name.
I don't know. We listened to Jack Slattery in the morning, okay, and they played all just the middle of the road pop radio of the time, schlocky stuff, and if they had yacht rock category in that day, that's what it would have been.
Right. But maybe they had a lot to do with you being interested in a wide range of music.
Yeah, I started when I started listening to music, even casually. That was when Herb Alpert was big. Okay.
I love Herb Alpert. I love him. Uh-oh.
Jeff froze for a second. It's all right.
Okay, he'll come back.
He'll loosen up. That's all right. That's a great still, by the way, of Jeff.
He had just hit with the Tijuana Brass. I can see me. Am I there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you just froze for a quick sec. You're back.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so I wanted to be Herb Alpert, but when I went into fourth grade band, I'd already had 2 years of piano instruction from second grade. So my band teacher put me on French horn because I knew how to read music and I had a very good ear. My band teacher, Russ Museri, who you knew Russ, didn't you, Nancy? Rochester, great tenor player. He was my fourth grade band teacher.
That's awesome.
And in later years, I played a lot of gigs with him with Joe Salzano's Blue Devil Swing Band. And
all right, so we should talk about that band. So you weren't in that band when they played the Newt Beach?
Yeah, I knew she was going. I knew she was going.
No, actually. Besides, no one would want to see this. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh no, the bandist where we all wore clothes. It was the most uncomfortable situation.
I heard the stories about the Steph's Pond.
Well, let's hear it. Come on.
It's legendary. I don't know if I can go into any detail, but it was Joe Salzano's big band. It wasn't the Blue Devil Swing, the AP swing group. It was his big band, which I played in for a while, but this was before I played in it. And they played a gig at Steph's Pond. I think it was Steph's Pond outside of Rochester, which is
I don't know anything about that.
And
you're lying.
I don't.
Apparently most of the guys wore swim shorts, but Joe Salzano was out there swinging in the breeze.
No, that's too much information. Okay.
His horn was swinging in the breeze, the alto.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
Okay. So, and ask Andy Calabrese because he knows more about the gig.
Oh, well, Andy will go into full detail.
I'm afraid he might. So.
And when Nancy and I were talking about this, when Nancy posted about this nude resort, I said, no, let's wait till Jeff comes on because I noticed that Andy, in the thread of comments, had mentioned that he played there, and then you responded and so I got the impression that you were also,
No, I was not on that.
but
No.
Andy Calabrese was.
But it's still legendary.
Yes, that was the word you used. Legendary.
Ask anybody who was there how legendary it was.
And I love whoever commented in the whoever made a comment on Facebook in that thread said did they play "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" or
It's awful. I mean, this couple came up to me, and here they are. I mean, they're naked. I mean, and you don't. It's all you can do is just to look at their eyes. Hi, how are you?
And then I think
Right,
Nancy
that's
started
proper
singing "All of Me," right? All of you. Why not show me all of you?
Can't you see?
All right, never mind about that. Well,
Okay, moving
we
right
had a
on.
laugh. So, at what point in Jeff Stockham's life did he start playing a little jazz?
Well, like I said, I started by listening to Herb Alpert, and then not long after that, I think junior high school even, Chuck Mangione started coming on the scene, and so I got into Chuck a little bit, and that was a whole different thing. That opened my eyes a lot. I played piano in my junior high jazz band, and I was really bad. Okay, I took a few lessons on how to read chords, but I couldn't voice them properly, and I didn't have the dedication to play piano as more than just a tool. Okay, just a musical tool. But my freshman year in high school, my band director Quail Andrews brought in the Louis Bellson Explosion big band, and it had all of the throughway beboppers in it. Joe Romano, I think Sal Nistico was in it. I know he might have been,
think we should
in the
explain
audience,
we should explain. I didn't mean to interrupt, but you used a very interesting terminology, which some of our viewers that are from other parts of the country may not know what the throughway.
Okay, the throughway beboppers were the cats that came from the cities that are positioned along the New York State Thruway: Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, Utica, Albany, and Rome, and so forth, all the way from west to east on the Thruway. So you had guys like Don Menza and Joe Romano, and then had some of the like the Southern Tier guys, like Matt Pierce was on piano, and Chuck DeLaura was on bass. I think Rosalino was on trombone. I can't remember.
You talking about Frank?
I remember Frank? Yeah, he might have been. And then Johnny Madrid, the greatest lead player of all time, was playing lead trumpet. Okay, anything Maynard could do, Johnny could play an octave higher.
Ooh, come on!
And sound as big as a house. He played lead for in Vegas, backing up the shows, and he would play for Wayne Newton's show, and he's like the only guy that Wayne Newton actually gave a solo to. Okay, Wayne would say, "Johnny Madrid, the best in the world."
Huh.
Okay, so he had and Louis Bellson's band came in with those cats on it, and they, in my high school auditorium, they blew the roof off the joint, and it was like the old Memorex commercial with my hair blown back. I had a little cassette deck and I taped the whole thing. Okay, and I listened to that over and over and over and over. But I heard those guys when they finished that concert, just roaring, like they played for almost 3 hours.
Where?
At Brockport High School.
At Brockport. Oh, but it was a special concert. It wasn't for the.
No, my band director brought them in as guests, for fundraising, public concert, and it was amazing. And I heard that and I said, I want to do that.
That's
okay,
how it begins.
I want to do that, and that was always there. Even when I was doing French horn, I copped solos off of that cassette tape, and I learned Joe Romano's solos on a couple of tunes so that I could play right along with Joe, which I got to do in later years. I got to jam with him a lot when I was at Eastman.
I played a lot with Joe.
You did too. Yeah, miss him.
By the way, since Jeff mentioned his name, we might as well just give him a little screen time.
Johnny Madrid.
There it is. Johnny Madrid, a name that I wasn't familiar with.
Where's he from, Jeff?
I don't know where he was from actually. I would have to do the background research. I'd have to go back. I mean, I've read about him, but I'd have to go back and look.
Don't worry, Eric will have that information for us in 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm on it right now.
He
No,
was one of the top. He was one of the top lead trumpeters in Las Vegas for quite a few years.
That's a smart move to make for some people, man.
Vegas.
You can get a chair with one of those shows.
Yeah. Well, when you're that bad a cat, you kind of gravitate to doing that.
Why not?
Yeah.
It's very hard to become a headliner,
Yeah. First
thing.
call in any of those cities. Of course, not that much of that going on anymore either. So
No.
So you know what I'm just longing to hear.
what?
I want to hear you play a little jazzy something on the French horn.
Oh, okay.
Just a little
I've still got
something,
a few other instruments to get to also.
Well, all right, if you'd like to
Before
get
we do
those
that,
first.
I got something that looks like a little like a French horn.
What
Whoa! Look at this little guy.
Dickens is that?
This is actually a B flat cornet, but it's in circular form, and it dates to about 1855.
You think
So
that
it's another
influenced
Civil War.
Dizzy? Do you know the way Dizzy had his? Is that
I don't
story
think-
right
I don't-
about Dizzy with the horn getting stepped on and all that crap? Is that right?
I don't think he was familiar with this kind of thing. I mean, this horn is by Firth and Pond of New York, and it was made in about 1855. And this was one of the types that was used during the Civil War. And it's a nice little horn. Plays good.
Yes.
What a tone you have, Jeff.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. It's,
It
Beautiful.
comes from
So
a
rich.
French horn training. Comes from
That's a nice sounding horn.
yes,
It's
it
a
is.
sweet little instrument, actually. Yeah. So you want to see? I did bring along the one of my favorite horns. This is a 5-valve single B flat French horn made in about 1960. Really beautiful instrument, and it's my weapon of choice for when I play jazz on French horn. It's this made by F.E. Olds. No relation to the car company. So.
Isn't that beautiful? Was I supposed to come in?
We're supposed to trade fours with me, Nance.
I'm famous for going, is it my turn yet?
Yeah.
I think guys just look at me.
Yeah.
Ay.
Put down the drink and sing. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. Let me show everybody a great picture. Oh, I have a great picture.
I've got a picture as well. I'm going to let Nancy.
Oh, it's probably the one you have.
No, I doubt it. I doubt we have the same picture, but go
No,
ahead.
I don't know. This is a great picture.
Is it Jeff with long hair? No. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. 443.
I think I took that.
I think Victoria took that picture.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Isn't
That
that
is-
beautiful?
Just look at the
Yes.
eye contact too. The
That's
two
communication.
It's a really good. It's really good. Well, we were actually trading fours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that
And-
I do it very well, but I do okay.
Oh, you do too.
I think
I do okay. Well, you know how we are.
In a situation like that, we're both listening to each other, and we're both taking visual cues also with each other. Okay, so every little nuance of the eyes, of the face, and body language, it all adds to how we communicate with each other musically when we're doing it.
I love that photograph.
Yeah, and people need to know. I mean, if I see Jeff in the audience, he knows now. He has a standing, and just bring your horn in, man. I mean, don't.
Keep one in the car all the time.
Well, you know what I mean. You do know if you're heading my way, you can bring it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, thank you.
But that's one of that was a great, and that was awesome. You were there that night, Eric. I think you were.
I was.
Yep.
I was there that night, but and what's funny is I was going to, you know me, Nancy. I always have pictures prepared to share, and I have seen that picture and I've loved it, and for some reason I had not already saved it to my desktop. But I'm so glad that you shared that. But no, the picture that I have to share is not nearly as good as that one. But since Jeff just played the instrument, I know that. And Jeff and I
can hardly wait.
Jeff and I have talked about. Let me get this straight. Jeff and I have talked about this gentleman. I know that Jeff knows exactly who this man is.
Oh, Julius Watkins.
When I think of French horn players, I think of Jeff Stockham, and then I know this man is probably your favorite.
Yeah, one of my favorites. Absolutely. He did more for jazz French horn playing than pretty much anybody else. Although there have been a surprising number of jazz French horn players, you just don't hear a lot about them.
Really?
There was a guy who played in Glenn Miller's Army band by the name of Addison Collins Jr. You might know him as Junior Collins, who played on Birth of the Cool.
Yeah.
He was the hornist on some of the Birth of the Cool cuts, along with Gunther Schuller and Sandy Siegelstein. And Junior Collins, from what I have read, he was actually an outstanding improviser. It's just that he was hardly ever. I don't think he was ever recorded as an improvising horn player. But he was apparently a really fine jazz player, and one of those guys that nobody's ever heard of, except if you already know about him.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of really good jazz horn players nowadays. The one that came to mind first for me, the one that I was aware of first was John Clark, the New York City player who's been on every recording of everything. Okay, right. Using the French horn. John Clark was it. All right, and then I've got several other friends who are great jazz horn players. Tom Varner, Aaron Brask, Mike Simpson, Arkady Shilkoper, a brilliant Russian horn player. He plays French horn and corno de cacha and
wow,
and Alp horn. He plays jazz Alp horn. So
what
he's
is
got
that?
He's got it's like the Ricola horn.
Oh yeah.
And he's got like a 12-foot. It's like a 12-foot long carbon fiber Alp horn, and he has his band like set up an ostinato in the key that the Alp horn plays, like a minor pentatonic in, and then he'll jam out on the Alp horn, and it's the darndest thing I ever heard. It's amazing. If you got to go on YouTube and check out Arkady Shilkoper.
Oh, I will. I love it.
He's amazing, and he's the nicest guy. Beautiful cat, and he's deserving of wide recognition.
Now, I think
he's at the top of the craft.
I think I can name one type of trumpet that maybe you have never played, although I could be wrong here.
Try me.
And as far as I know, there was only one person that did this. Was he played something called, and you'll know who I'm talking about. He played something called the flumpet, and that's Art Farmer.
Oh yeah.
The cross between the flugelhorn and the trumpet. Now,
well, I have played a flumpet.
Oh, you have?
That's actually,
I heard you flump it a couple times.
Oh, stop it!
But I flumped it first.
That's flubbit.
Oh, okay.
I knew this would get a joke out of it.
The flumpet is a trademark design by Dave Manette, he's in the Pacific Northwest, and he makes marvelous instruments, very expensive, marvelous instruments. And the flumpet it is kind of a cross between a trumpet and French horn, or not French horn, trumpet and flugelhorn.
Right.
And it has sort of a unique tone of its own. It's a beautiful horn. I don't think I played Art Farmer's flumpet, but I did play one of Art Farmer's flutes.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Very
I have.
funny.
Honest to God, I knew a collector. I knew a late collector in New York by the name of Hal Oranger, and he had a marvelous collection, including a lot of famous people's instruments. He had Art Farmer's flugelhorn, which I played on. He actually had the Besson French. Yeah, that's the flumpet right there.
Oh, you just
and
beat me to it, man.
Yep. Well, sign me up for 2. Yeah. So, but Hal Oranger owned.
12,000. All right, I'll be right with you.
Had Art Farmer's flumpet. He had Don Fagerquist's Martin Committee. He had let's see what else. He had the Exposition French Besson Miha trumpet, the best trumpet ever that I've ever played in my life. It was made for a like a 1920s World's Fair exhibition, and it was the most beautiful looking and playing instrument I've ever seen. The whole collection is now being cared for by Dave Rogers and I think Josh Landris in New York City of Josh Landris Brass.
Yeah.
Marvelous collection.
That's an interesting looking instrument, isn't it?
Yep. But it's 3 valves, shepherd's crook, same as a lot of cornets. And there's nothing really unconventional about it, except the fact that it's a double shepherd's crook and has heavy valve caps and heavy metal, sheet metal bracing and a very large belt. It's just a beautifully made, beautifully designed instrument. It plays great.
I bet.
Do you have an instrument there that's something similar to that?
Not really. I did bring a flugelhorn.
Yeah, please.
Actually brought
flugelhorn.
I brought an unusual flugelhorn. I just bought this. I took a little surgical strike to Connecticut to buy it from a really nice guy, nice cat out in
Another day drive.
Another day drive, yeah, to Connecticut and back. But it's a Miraphone 4-valve rotary valve flugelhorn.
Isn't that
beautiful? This is the type of horn played by the jazz trumpeter Jimmy Owens.
Okay.
His was made by Alexander, I think, another German firm. But this is a 4-valve Miraphone, which is a German make, and the 4th valve is an F extension, like on an F attachment trombone. So it's the same as playing 1 and 3. So it gives you a low register, and it gives you a lot of different alternate fingering combinations. So you can play.
Please play for us.
But it's like it has an almost an octave lower range than a conventional flute.
So B flat 1. Are you really?
Yeah. So,
wow.
But the 4th valve it gives you alternate fingerings, and also makes the horn a lot heavier, so it has a thicker sound.
I have a question for you. So these horns all come with a mouthpiece. Do you end up replacing the mouthpiece so that it's better suited to your embouchure?
Well, sometimes yes, sometimes no. This mouthpiece came with a custom-made mouthpiece by a mouthpiece maker by the name of Tottle. Okay, and Tottle made he made custom mouthpieces for professional players, and this was made specifically for this instrument for the prior owner, prior to the guy I bought it from. And it fits my face really well, and it sounds great, it plays good, it feels good, so it stays. Okay, a lot of instruments, like my trumpets, I will play my standard mouthpiece is an old New York Bach 10.5C. I've got a weight on it right now, but it's a 1930s or 40s Vincent Bach Corporation 10.5C, and that fits my face very well. So it allows me to get around on the horn and do the stuff that I want.
Now that's the one I've seen you. Okay, go ahead.
Oh no, good. Yeah, this is
That's the one I've seen you bring to the gigs, right?
Yeah, this is a copper belled Con 10B. Really, really sweet horn. It's a solid copper bell that was made by electroforming. Okay, there's no seams in this bell. It was electroplated onto the manual. High
So
tech.
that's not gonna cause any overtones by seam.
It actually makes it actually resonates a little better.
Yeah.
You get a little more projection. You get a darker sound. It's
Nancy, that's why he plays it seamlessly.
oh,
Sorry.
boom.
Oh no.
And it's a nice fat sound, and I like
Oh.
playing unless I'm doing like commercial playing. Then I play a different horn and a different mouthpiece that has a little more zing, a little more pointy projection, and
Yeah, you
it's
want to cut it. Yeah.
shallower, a little shallower mouthpiece. So it just produces the high register a little easier.
This
So
is
I
all
do
very
adapt my equipment.
intriguing to me. I find this extremely interesting. I
Well,
really.
most horn players adapt their equipment to the job at hand. You know, if they're playing a lot of different kinds of music. An orchestral trumpet player will play his C trumpet with his Bach 1 mouthpiece or whatever, Bach 2.5C, and that covers all the repertoire that he needs except for a piccolo trumpet, generally. And they don't switch up on equipment nearly as much. But a lot of commercial players, they have their go-to horn and their go-to mouthpiece for this certain type of music, and then another one for a different type of music. For some, I play this one on a lot of jazz. I also play a Martin Committee when it's appropriate, and if I'm doing Miles Davis stuff or Chet.
That's my boy.
I gotta say too.
I have I pick one out of the herd of the I probably have 100 trumpets out of that collection.
The trumpet garden.
Yeah.
I love how big.
You ever see there's a Facebook meme going around, and it's got a scene from 50 Shades of Grey with the guy talking into the woman's ear saying, "I have a pleasure room. Do you want to see it?" And then the bottom half of the meme is a room with rows of trumpets. So yeah, that's the trumpet garden. So
I must say too, again, Nancy, you and I have seen Jeff play so many times over the years, and you've had the pleasure of actually playing with him. But I also must say I love Jeff when you play the muted trumpet.
No, muted trumpet is
Muted-
my no.
I did not bring any. I don't have any mutes with me.
That's okay. That's all right.
Go get a plunger or something.
Nancy, can you mute? Can you mute Jeff?
Send her to the bathroom.
Let's try to mute Jeff so we can get him muted. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't have any mutes. I don't have any mutes right here.
That's all right. But just
I
describe.
don't feel maybe a teacup. You got a teacup.
You know what's fun though? The truth, and I'm not lying. A muted, and I've told you this in person. A muted trumpet is my absolute favorite instrument.
Is it?
Sends me through
Yeah,
the.
that'll work. That'll work.
There we go.
Look at
There
this.
we go.
This okay. Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'd say that teacup worked just fine. Thank
It
you.
was great, man. That was
Thanks,
that's
Victoria.
that's worthy of applause. That one right there. That was just really super.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a special. There's a certain sound about.
That was my first online performance.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
I'm a bit of a Luddite technophobe. I was a late adopter of email, even. Okay, so doing this thing here, this is like okay. So,
Well, yeah, we are living.
but you saw it here first.
We are living in a virtual world right now. That's for sure. But that was fantastic.
Oh,
Absolutely,
thanks.
absolutely fantastic. And I know. I think you've said to me before that for people who are young people who are just starting to learn the trumpet.
Don't
Oh,
stop.
The
Why? What are you saying? Don't learn it?
I'm kidding.
there's one particular
Don't do it. Don't take the trumpet.
there's one particular song that it's almost like the anthem that all trumpet players must learn to play, and I think we've talked about this. Is I Remember Clifford. Would you agree that that's kind of like if you
Yeah.
that's right
Well,
up there with must.
every trumpet player, every jazz trumpet player owes a debt of gratitude to Clifford Brown, and it's also my lovely wife's favorite
I
tune.
love that.
Is that your favorite, Victoria?
It is. When
Yes.
Jeff plays it, it's my favorite.
Yeah.
It just brings me to tears
Yeah.
when he plays it.
And usually I bring people to tears for different reasons.
Stop, please.
So, okay, you want to hear a little of that?
Yeah, we're
Let's hear a
ready.
little
Man.
bit of I Remember Clifford, please. Oh,
Oh my God. I love how you work into a note and then work out of it. It's just so artful.
oh. I
So
can hear Victoria weeping on the
Well,
sides.
I've got to say, I have always thought of playing playing ballads like that as singing. Okay, so when I play a ballad, if it has words, I try to learn the words and I try to
thank
phrase it as if I'm singing. Okay, now, which brings me to another point. Okay, and that's Nancy. Okay, some of you folks out there might know that I took some voice lessons with Nancy, and I would love to continue at some point. But everything that she taught me has informed how I play ballads as well.
Well, it's all one thing. The storytelling thing is all one thing, and
It is, yeah.
Even if a piece does not have lyrics, it still has a story behind
Exactly.
it that you can.
Exactly.
That's where you go. You go there. You do not
Right.
go to the storefront. You go
Right.
behind it. What is it? You know, and you do that
Exactly.
so beautifully, man.
Well, there's always there's push and pull. There is statement and space.
Well, space is my
There's
best friend.
dynamics. Okay, you control the dynamics. You control the phrasing. You control the tone color. You'll see in some places I'm playing with a really full tone. In some places I'm playing with a real breathy.
Yeah, because go ahead. And so this all has to do with, you know, the melody and where it's leading and
Yeah,
where
where it takes you and
ends
where you want.
and where it gives birth again. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this stuff has different emotions. I teach all my singers. There is always an overall emotion of the tune, always.
Right.
But each line in a lyric has a separate emotional identity. Each line in any piece of music, whether it doesn't have a lyric or not, has an emotional identity. That's
Exactly.
what you just demonstrated.
Yes.
That's what makes a great player, man, right there. Right there.
I try to convey that in, you know, whenever I'm playing a tune.
I know. Too bad we don't have more people that get it.
Too bad we have more gigs right now.
Well, I've been pretty happy. I've been doing the thing where I'm doing the collabs, and maybe let me get one together, and we'll do one together.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that'd be nice.
We'll get somebody to play some chords, and then of course you could take some sweetening, and I would have to do it, and then you'd have to get in and do the sweetening and solos and all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm down. I'll try it.
Easy to do. It is. You
Is
just
it- I thought Victoria wanted to. Were you going to say something, Victoria?
no. She's just digging up.
I'm so
You're still
Oh.
crying.
It gets you every time, huh?
I just love it. I remember
What?
Clifford.
By the way, Nan, speaking of you giving Jeff vocal lessons, have you ever had a chance to enjoy Jeff's Chet Baker show?
What?
Jeff's Chet Baker show, where he not only plays but he sings a lot of songs
Oh, you mean live?
live. Yes, live.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's always what I would love to be there. But the unfortunate thing in my life is I live an hour away from everything.
Yeah. And quite frankly, as musicians, we're all working on the same nights.
Yeah, true.
And
True.
we are often, but you know, I would love to. If I was right there in town, man, I'd
Of course,
be
you know,
me and Vic could have a glass of wine and we'd listen.
I got to tell you one thing, Nancy. If you were in the audience, my vocal tone would suddenly become, I fall in love.
You know what's so funny? My friend Scott
I'm
Dennis.
nervous singing in front of you.
My friend Scott Dennis says, when you walk in, it feels the same as when Mark Murphy walked into your gigs. I said, oh yeah, it's like a deer in the headlights. You know, like, oh my God, here he comes! Holy shit!
You know, Nancy, it was so
I mean, if
wonderful talking to you about what can I, you know, I was thinking, what can I get Jeff for an anniversary gift? I just, you know, we're tired of getting stuff. And he
But
said
we have
he
all the stuff
to
we
learn
need.
how to sing. And I said, lessons with Nancy Kelly.
Yeah.
So that was my gift to him.
And it was an interesting thing because we both it was as much talking about learning about singing, but we both went to the place of agreeing on why.
Yeah,
You know, like, why?
I've seldom had so much fun in an hour with anybody ever. Okay,
Oh, thanks.
and even when I was, you know, trying to do what you were teaching me and failing miserably, I still was loving it.
Oh
Okay?
God, Jeff, it takes 6 months to a year of constant work.
I know.
Constant work. And an adult singer has muscle memory. It just takes so long to replace it with the right habits.
And same thing here. Okay, same thing with the chops.
Well, it doesn't
So I
matter.
totally dig. Yeah.
And Nancy, he would come home and I'd say, what did you learn today? And he'd tell me about moving it from here to here. And so when he'd be out on his gigs and he'd sing it, and I go, you're a little up here.
Yeah, she's sitting in the back going.
Relax your leg.
Nancy, remember what Nancy said.
Yeah, exactly.
Just walk around talking sexy.
Well, having seen a couple of your Chet Baker shows, I must say, Jeff, you truly capture the essence of Chet Baker at the trumpet.
I'd love to see it.
The trumpeter and also the I mean I could close my eyes and when you sing, I don't know, Let's Get Lost, I mean you really do just capture Chet's vibe.
Thanks, Eric.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
it's just the heroin talking. That's all.
I wasn't gonna go there. I was not gonna say you captured that vibe.
No. No, but thank you. I try to.
But yes, in the 80s maybe.
Yeah, right. I don't try to like copy Chet's singing.
No,
Very good advice, Nancy, by the way. But I try to emulate the music, the musicality. I try to emulate the essence of it.
Yeah,
and
the spirit of
singing
it.
and in the playing. There's a certain aesthetic to the way he did both of those things, singing and playing. And I try to emulate that. I don't try to slavishly copy it.
Yeah,
But,
no. Well, why you couldn't?
It's what that particular program is about.
You couldn't. You don't have his instrument. You don't have his vocal cords. You
Right.
don't have his life experiences. And
I have
you're
his
on
trumpet, though.
heroin.
he has his trumpet.
I have the trumpet though.
Yeah, but even so, if you ain't lived it, man, it ain't going to come out of your horn.
Oh, I know exactly.
That's all there is to
Exactly.
it.
So, but with
That's why Wonder Bread comes out of my horn.
Oh no! Everybody that's been in this room tonight will disagree with that.
Wow.
Now I'm just curious, Jeff, and I'm not going to ask you to do it now. We're hard to believe we're down to our final, like 5-10 minutes of the show.
Oh man, we just started this.
It feels like it, right? Yeah.
I was like
Told
nervous
you
to
so.
talk about for an hour.
But my question, and I will never forget this night. Although I've heard you do it since, but I'll never forget the first time I heard you do your Satchmo voice. Was at the after party for Jazz and Kaz out in Cazenovia, and
right.
and you did Wonderful World. Now that Satchmo voice, did you learn? Did you learn that? I know Nancy can get a little grovelly. Did you teach Jeff how to?
I will not allow people to slam their vocal cords together.
Okay, I didn't think that was a Nancy lesson.
Oh, no, it wasn't a Nancy thing.
No.
Wasn't. I actually started doing that. Well, I play with a party band out of it, a great band called The Destination. Okay, and they were doing that at weddings and so on. And I talked to the leader. Said, "Hey, Joe Lansky, you can reach him at thedestination.com. Okay, great band. Hint, hint. Sorry about putting the plug in there.
Nothing wrong.
Well, hey man, maybe you're gonna get a gig.
Exactly. Give us some gigs. Anyways, so I said, "Hey Joe, why don't I could try doing a Louis Armstrong thing on that and play the trumpet?" And he said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I started. I see trees of green, red roses too, and it goes over like gangbusters.
Oh,
I mean, it just goes over, and then I play the thing, play the trumpet, come in on the bridge. And then with the zapadu zimba zapuzay, oh yeah, and people eat it up, man. It's a hoot.
I mean, I just feel for Jeff's throat after just one song. Louis,
And my throat is shot. I could not do a Louis Armstrong program. Okay?
no, I would imagine you'd need some
It's
lozenges.
shot now.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Please, yes, go ahead.
So, but at the same time, I'm imitating him, but I'm not.
Right.
It's more the emulating. Okay, I can play kind of in that style enough so that it sounds right, and I do a little of the voice, and I keep in mind that Louis was an entertainer first. Okay, he was a great jazz
I was
player.
just gonna say, man.
But he was a consummate entertainer. He was about giving the audience their money's worth, giving them what they wanted to hear, giving them the love. Okay, so I just keep that in mind, and I try to convey that same kind of thing when I do a little, my little homage to Lewis.
Yeah.
With the swing band, I also do "Kiss to Build a Dream On." Give me a kiss to build a dream on.
Oh, right.
Louis voice also,
Right.
and that also goes over really well. So, anyways, that's the story of that.
There is only happiness and virtue in bringing joy to people. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with it in
That's
any
why I love what I do.
in any way.
And
You know,
music brings joy to people.
Yeah.
when I do a show, whenever I do a show, and you know me and you've known me, I don't know how many years,
Oh Lord.
a
Yeah.
long time.
Longer than either of us would like to admit.
I do maybe I'll do 2 shows a night. I'll do maybe 10 tunes.
Yeah.
Maybe like 6 of them are beboppy or jazzy, and then there's 4 or 5 that are like straight ahead entertainment.
Yeah.
Because if I do that all night, it's like, they get.
Well, you can play obscure stuff that nobody knows and play for 6 people, okay? Or you can bring the entertainment factor in, and
Yeah.
people come back the next time you play. They want to hear stuff that they know, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're giving them entertainment.
I'm just
That's
saying, you
what
gotta
we
throw
do.
a couple things in for the audience. I used to do
Absolutely.
that whole Sinatra thing. Like that was
Yeah. Yeah.
remember my little big band and that thing that I had. I
Yeah.
can't help it that I craved a little more sophistication, and unfortunately, that kind of put me out of the game. A little bit. It lessens your audience. It makes your audience smaller. I just lost you guys.
Yeah. Oh well, I'm here. I see you.
Yeah. But that's okay. I enjoy indulging in things that intellectually challenge me, and I'm not
I do too.
I'm
And
not lie about that. I like it.
I enjoy the esoteric, but I can't make a steady diet of it. I can't. I don't want to. I don't. I've played Olivier Messiaen, and I've played other avant-garde, 20th century avant-garde stuff on trumpet and on French horn. I've played free jazz and so on, and there's some things that are kind of self-indulgent that if I wanted to play, I'd have just as much of an audience if I sat in a practice room by myself. So I want to play stuff that people want to listen to, and the people that I think they'll enjoy. And it's when I bring a little bit of education into it, a little bit of learning, a little bit of info, so that they have a better perspective of what they're listening to. Then I've also succeeded as I've succeeded as an entertainer and an educator that way.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I got a true education that night. I guess it was last year at the Green Gate when you had a row of.
oh, yeah.
I think you had about a dozen. You had a dozen trumpets lined up, and you didn't even. I don't
10
think you
trumpets
got
and
to
2
every.
flugelhorns. Yes.
Right, and you
And
tried to get
that was
everyone.
that's a program I call Trumpet Titans, and I play the music of a bunch of different great trumpet players on the same model of instruments that they
Right.
used.
Yes.
Okay, I've got Clark Terry, I've got
Freddie Hubbard.
kind of yes, a horn, the type that Freddie Hubbard played. I've got what Miles and Chet played. I've got Clark Terry, Clyde McCoy. Okay, do a little sugar blues, from the 30s.
Yeah.
I've got the kind of horn that Bunny Berrigan played. So when I do I Can't Get Started, it's that's the sound.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff. I got to work a few more things into that because I've got a Doc Severinsen horn now. I've got a Maynard MF horn in my collection. Another of the horns that I used was a Blessing Super Artist, which is what Clifford played on. So you get that crackly sound that he had, that ding in his sound, that immediacy. So
Well,
it's really fun to first of all for me to play that stuff.
yeah.
Okay. And air those things out every now and then, because a lot of them are not my first call gig instruments, but it's so much fun to get them out now and then and play that music on those horns because of the guy, that was the guy that played them, and it reminds me, speaking of Doc, you know how I've played a lot of like shows at the state fair and
Of course.
Turning Stone and so on over the years. Um, well, I did a show with Don Rickles, where he insulted everybody by name, everybody in the band, okay, by name from memory, okay.
That's
So,
a badge of honor, though, to get insulted by Rick.
exactly, and then now a number of years ago, I did a jam session with this group that I belong to, the Cornet Conspiracy. We have an annual meeting almost every year, and we formed it because we were colluding against eBay to not try to bid against each other on cornets we were trying to buy. So we were conspiring. So we called it the Cornet Conspiracy. And I have a lot of good friends that I've made through that. One year we did it at a winery out in California that belongs to one of the members. And one of the horns I played was it's a King half-size Liberty trumpet. Okay, it's just like a 1930s King Liberty trumpet, except it's this long. It's half size of a regular trumpet, and it plays in the piccolo trumpet range, an octave higher. And there's only 100 of them made, and they were made for as like promotional items for King instrument dealers. So there's only there might be 20 of them that are known right now.
Do you have it there?
I don't have one, but several buddies of mine have them, and I played some choruses of blues on this thing, and there's somewhere on YouTube there's still a video of it. And I got wind. Well, another of the conspiracy members was an instrument maker at Shire's.
Oh.
Okay, and Shire's was making instruments for Doc. So this friend of mine says to Doc, "You got to check this out, man." Well, they were talking about the Kings, and he said, "Oh, you got to check this out." And he played the video of me playing this thing. And Severinsen says, "Man, I got to meet that guy. I can't get a fart out of one of those things." so I've been complimented by Doc Severinsen and insulted.
So there you go.
And my career is complete.
Oh, man.
So by you investigating all these instruments, you've really carved out a very interesting place in
a niche. Yeah,
there's no question about that.
Absolutely. I mean,
and I've learned a tremendous amount. It's a continuing journey, and it's been a wonderful journey.
Oh, it is for
I've been collecting for 35 years or so, and it's a journey of knowledge. And the more that I know, I've learned all about the 19th century band leaders and cornet players, the great soloists, the instruments they played. I played on so many instruments that belong to these guys. I played on Patrick Gilmore's cornet. I played on Jules Levy's cornet. I played on the bugle that Keith Clark played at JFK's funeral. Okay, I played all sorts of these instruments, and it's been such a wondrous journey of learning.
It's so.
Lesson. It really
I'm sorry. What strikes me here is we all focus so much on what comes out of the instrument all the time.
Yeah.
And you're a person who's focusing on the messenger.
Yeah.
Well, who and the what goes into the instrument.
Yeah.
Right.
That's kind of cool, man.
And I've learned a lot about instrument repair and construction. I used to hang out with Richard Brown, the late repairman in Liverpool. I used to spend hours and hours in his basement shop with him. He taught me all sorts of repair stuff. I restored some of my antique horns myself, and I learned so much, that I still apply. Just from that in particular, I've learned so much about about acoustics and about instrument construction and repair and the development, the history of the instrument, going back, all the way to the Baroque. And I actually, that's right, I did. I actually took a trumpet building course and made from scratch, from flat pieces of sheet metal, a Baroque natural trumpet, which I have played in concert. Believe it or
That's
not.
pretty cool. Did you ever teach a class? Sounds like a class to me.
I did some. I've done some seminars, and I've done some like master classes on the history of brass instruments.
Well, let's hope let's hope that this show makes people aware of you, and hopefully down the road. I mean, you're in a situation now where you're on Zoom. You could give a class anywhere in the country for anyone
I suppose that's
in
true.
the
Yeah.
university.
You
So,
could. Yeah.
you guys, get a hold of Jeff Stockham.
Let's
I'm on Facebook.
Jeff's on Facebook. Also, check out your website is fantastic. JeffStockham.com, Stockham, and it's got a listing of the different ensembles that Jeff leads, and also the bands that Jeff has played with. We never even really got into. We'll have to
Oh,
wait.
we didn't even get into that. I
We
mean,
didn't
that's
even get
another
into the-
laundry
I was
list.
very happy with what we got into. Very
Yeah, me too.
But it's a great website. Also shows some, not all, but some of the trumpets that are not just trumpets, but trumpets and cornets. There's pictures on Jeff's website, so check out jeffstockham.com. My last question, and maybe Nancy has one more, is going to be for Victoria, and that is this: Victoria, since March, and now we're in August. What has it been like having Jeff home so much, considering
It's actually been wonderful. We've hiked, we've camped.
Yeah.
Well, we've had some camping canceled.
right?
We've kayaked, boated, spent time with his mom.
That's
Got to hang with
good
your old pal,
gathering.
Yes,
Yeah.
Joe Colombo.
What's that?
You got to hang with recently.
we had Joe Colombo
Yeah,
recently.
yeah, and
And-
Ilza Brink we've had over
Yes.
a couple of times, done
Ilza.
some things with her,
And
and
we
some
have
other friends. Yeah,
a beautiful deck, very large deck off the new house. So we've had a few friends at a time visiting,
Right.
chatting, catching up, but we've really been
Yeah.
enjoying our time together.
we've been enjoying your retirement.
Yes.
But at the same time, you'd like them to get back to work eventually.
Well, I miss the music. I've been around live music my entire life.
Yeah, she has better
You
credits
are
than I.
really a huge, I don't want to say supporter, you're a part of it.
Yes.
I am,
Yeah.
and Jeff will say, oh, I need to sell off this horn or that horn. And I look at him and I go, really? Do you want to do that? Are you sure you want to do that? You love that horn. Why would you do that?
And you know how many guys on Facebook say, "Oh, I bought another horn. I got to sneak it into the house so my wife doesn't see it."
But that's who he is, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
That's a part of him. And like you said, Nancy and Eric, the education that he provides at a concert, at a seminar, at a workshop, at a library, a country club, when they hire him, he provides so much knowledge. And people come up of all ages. They come up and he's always bombarded, and they come up to me and they go, where can we get more information? Where can we find this? Where's he playing next? What is this? What is that? And it's fascinating. It's just a wonderful thing.
It really
great.
is.
So,
And
but we have had more time to enjoy our each other's company too.
That's
So
Right.
that's been
wonderful.
really nice.
That is wonderful indeed.
And actually, we get to sit out and have dinner on the deck on a Friday night instead of me leaving at 6 p.m. to
Yeah.
drive an hour to go play.
But
for
good.
someone else's-
I'm pretty happy at home. I hate to say it.
Yeah.
Or the days where he has 2 or 3 gigs, and it's run. And then, oh my God, we've got to take your mom to the doctor's tomorrow at 10. And
Yeah,
she's
in
an hour and a half
Rochester,
away. So it's,
Yeah.
we've gotten to sleep a little bit.
Go figure.
Well,
We hope those days return at some point.
Yes,
Well,
the music.
Knock wood.
You know?
Knock wood.
Eric and I both want to thank you so much because
Oh, Nancy, thank
it was
you.
very interesting.
Very.
And it was so nice to see you too, Victoria.
You
Thank you for
too.
Yes.
in and chiming in, and I miss you. I love you
I
both
miss you
so
too,
much.
Yeah.
both of you.
Oh, and Victoria also dressed for, as a plug for one of the bands that I'm in. So I'm gonna.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to.
What is it?
It's Irv Lyons and the Light
Oh, and the ripcords.
and the Ripcord.
Ripcords, yes.
Yes. Oh, Irv Lyons. What a great guy,
Yeah.
good friend. And that's right.
I
You're
love Irv. Kimmy, love all those guys.
Yeah,
you know.
we saw all of that. We saw Rex and Irv and
Yeah.
the whole group last night.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, it's always fun when the ripcords bring their horn section with them.
But no dancing. There's no dancing allowed.
No dancing.
You have to sit in your chair if
Well,
you
you
go to listen
I mean,
to live music.
I'm dancing right now. Okay,
I'm
this
sure
is
you
how I
are.
dance. I sit in the chair and I go. That's it. You don't want to see me try to dance.
Oh, come on.
No, you're no Arthur Murray.
I'm no Fred McMurray.
Oh, I think we'll let's
Hey.
end that note.
I've been on the bandstand with you, and I can affirm that you a dancing machine.
That's right.
Class-
I think it's time we call it a night there, Eric.
Let's call it a night. A class act. Jeff Stockham and Victoria Stockham as well. We love you guys. We miss
We
you,
love
and yeah, you guys work on that collaboration. Let's hope it can happen.
I'm gonna come up with something. I do them all the time.
Yeah, let's talk about that. This has been
All
just a blast. Thank you so much.
Well, we love you and take care. Thank you for sharing
Great
with
to,
us.
great to see you both, and let's not be strangers.
Yeah.
No,
We're any strangers than we already are.
be well, be safe, and we'll
You
do
as
this.
well.
We'll do this again next week. Bobby Militello joins us a week from tonight.
We'll
And anybody who wants to rewatch this episode can go to on Facebook on our Facebook page. Time Out with Eric Cohen and Nancy Kelly. I'll have it on my timeline, Nancy on hers, and it'll be uploaded to YouTube as well. Are you about to play us out, Jeff?
I'm just gonna play a little tagline for you if we're done.
All right, and then we'll wrap.
But that's all, folks.